Really excited to talk today about the 2019 early signing day. We signed 14 players as of right now in the early signing period, and we're very, very excited about all the players that we signed. I think this class would rank top 5 nationally when grading the individual player, not cumulatively. We don't lose a lot of seniors this year, and so within the 85 scholarships, there's really not that many spots and limited room. So when you look at the quality of the player, and obviously we'll talk about the student athlete as well, how important it is, we think we're as good as we've ever been. 10 different states represented in the class, 5 from Ohio, 2 from Georgia, and then 1 from Florida, Tennessee, New Jersey, Maryland, Missouri, Texas, Indiana, and North Carolina. The class includes players at 9 different positions, 4 on offense, 5 on defense. 2 players were voted Gatorade Player of the Year in their respective states, and 5 players helped their teams advance to the state title as seniors, and 2 of them won state championships. 3 players, Zach Harrison, Harry Miller, and Garrett Wilson, were all finalists for the All-American Man of the Year Bowl down in Texas, and that award recognizes high standards in community service, education, and athletic distinction. I think when you look at this class, some of the things that come to mind are loyalty. Some of the things that come to mind are great families and quality student athletes. And we're very, very excited about the future, as these guys will be a foundation moving forward into the next few years. So with that, I'll take any questions.
We'll open it up over here to the right. Clay.
Zach Harrison, how did you make it happen in when what was said to be a week or 2 ago still up in the air?
Yeah, I mean it's been a long process. As head coach Jeff Schroeder, had a lot to do with this. Larry Johnson has been recruiting Zach for a long time. Obviously, Urban had a big part of this thing, and it's been a long time coming. We had a home visit last week. It was really important to sit down in the home and talk to the family about the direction of the program, and having some communication just on some of the leadership changes obviously that comes with the change in the head coach, and that communication stayed all the way until last night, and so it was kind of down to the wire, but couldn't be more excited to have him part of this family. A special young man that's going to do great things, and he's going to have a lot of help along the way with him to do that.
Did you feel good when you left this house that night?
Yeah, I did. I think there was a connection made there. And obviously, the connection that Larry had with the family was really, really important. And I believe that the family trusted that we were going to take care of their son when they came to Ohio State.
4th row left, or 3rd row left. Dan?
Ryan, first of all, past 2 weeks, you were a head coach. You just named a head coach 2 weeks ago, and now you're finishing up our early signing day for this class. What has this past week been like for you? Has it been a whirlwind?
Exhausting. Yeah, I mean, it started right that first day when we hit the road after the Big Ten championship game, and it didn't stop until now. It's been a whirlwind. Obviously, anytime like this something happens, you have to make sure that you're building relationships with the guys that you've recruited, but also some of the guys that maybe you didn't have your hands on, especially some guys on defense, getting to know their families, and then also reaching out to some of the guys on the team during this transition and getting to know their parents more. But a ton of phone calls. I felt like I had 2 phones to my ear for the last 2 weeks, and but a tribute to obviously what the staff has done here and the relationships that's been built over the last few years.
You talked in your introductory press conference about the importance of recruiting kids in Ohio and making that a priority. You've got 5 Ohio kids out of 14 right now. How do you feel about those numbers? Is that something that you feel like you need to emphasize even more going forward, or do you feel like you're about where you need to be?
No, it's always a priority. So. We want to make sure that in the next class that's a huge emphasis as well. But we're recruiting, the kids from Ohio harder than anybody in the country, and it's going to continue to be a priority.
Front row left, Bill.
Ryan, you guys obviously lost the commitment from a quarterback today. Just where are you generally with that position right now with the 2019 class?
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne, we're going to find out the next week after the bowl game kind of where he's at, and we always want to have 4 guys on the roster, and so it's always a process of. 1 guy's on the field, and it's hard to get 2 and 3 guys in the game. So it's never going to change. We're going to always look to have 4 guys on the roster, and just like anything else, after Dwayne makes the decision, we'll go from there.
And I guess you can't assume that Dwayne's going to go, but whatever happens with Dwayne, it does seem like you would have natural successors with Tate and Matthew on the roster. Yet you are reported to be interested in some high-profile transfer options. Why is that the case when you have guys like Tate and Matthew on the roster behind Dwayne?
Yeah, I'm not going to speculate on anything like that or comment on anything like that. You know, Tate and Matthew have both done a nice job in the bowl practice. And this is a great opportunity for those guys to get work and get fundamental work and get better and get reps. Even when Dwayne was in New York, those guys got an opportunity to be with the first and second team and get, you know, really quality reps with the offense. And so they've done a good job of that. They're growing, and we're going to keep going through that this spring.
What is your confidence level in either of those guys if you do find yourself in a position, do you have a quarterback competition in the spring?
Yeah, growing every day. And that's the thing is, you know, like Matthew really, when he came in, he came off the ACL and really wasn't ready to practice in the preseason. And then once the season started, you know, he didn't really get a whole bunch of reps because we had the ones and Tate took reps with the twos. So this is a great opportunity for him to step in and start to get some work. And so that's the confidence in him is growing. And then Tate actually had opportunities to work with the ones and did a nice job.
Right next door, Dave.
Ryan, in February for the late signing day, late signing period, what are your expectations? I know it's hard to put an exact number on, I'm not asking you to do that, but just what are your expectations, like roughly how many do you think you'll sign in that late signing period?
Yeah, hard to tell because, like you said, it is kind of one of those things. You know, we had 3 guys right now declare, and so there's some moving pieces there. There may be, you know, another couple, you know, few guys that we're obviously going to recruit going into the February signing period, but you know, we're going to keep working through January, and then as that number moves around, we'll adjust from there.
And the grad transfer market every year seems to be growing and growing and growing. That might be something past the next signing day, the late signing period, but just how active do you expect you'll be just at least testing those waters as far as grad transfers?
I mean, we'll always look at all the options. You know, whatever we think can help our roster. You know, the guys who are in our program, obviously, you know, they develop and work through our program, and so you know, those guys are obviously have priority. But if there is a need and there is someone that we need to, you know, plug in there, then we'll look at all those options.
Second row right, Rob.
You talk a lot about family, and when it comes to recruiting, I assume that's a huge piece of it, really connecting. You mentioned, or maybe somebody mentioned faith too. How does that play into it? Really looking at getting a little deeper than just family.
And when you mean when we're getting into homes? Yeah. Well, I think there was some faith right here because, you know, I've only been on the job here, you know, really for a couple of weeks. So when you step into a home, the good thing was there, you know, early on in August and the first 3 games, there was a lot of communication to some of the recruits and their families. So there was some familiarity there with the families and myself. So that was good. I think that they felt comfortable with that. So that helped with the faith that you're talking about. And I think that, you know, when you connect with people and you look them in the eye and you sit in their homes, there's a connection to be made there. I thought that happened. But we have such great families here. There was a lot of communication along the way. Some of the families, you know, like the Wilsons and the Millers and some of the families that I was, you know, close with early on in the recruiting process that were more kind of personal recruits. You know, I think they communicated with the other parents to say, hey, this is our experience with Ryan, and this is what you can expect. So I think that went a long way.
How many did you get a lot of questions about transition with Urban being gone? How did you tackle that, I guess?
Well, you know, that was the number one question. You know, so most people had their phones out, and they would look at their phones, and then they'd turn on their phones and just kind of scroll through all their questions that they had while we're sitting in the home because they didn't have a bunch of time. But the first one that came up was exactly that. You know, your direction and what you see the vision for the program, and the way that I answered that was that, you know, we think we have the most comprehensive program from A to Z in the country, and the infrastructure is here, and that you know, the plan is not to change that. The plan is not to come in and blow all that up. There's a reason why there's been so much success here in the past, and we want to keep that going. And anytime there's a leadership change, there's a change in personality, demeanor, and that'll be part of this. But we want to keep really the infrastructure in place.
Front row right, Austin.